Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tech Career Webinar 2.0, organized by Hello World Up. This webinar is very vital because we've noticed a lot of people are still confused when it comes to picking a career or choosing a career in tech. Um, Tech resources, tech platform can be so overwhelming. So picking a career in tech can be can be a daunting task. Having a guide, having a sort of a platform to put it through is quite necessary. So without wasting much time, we have to start now with the first agenda. I'll be inviting. My name is Ayodeji, and I'll be your moderator for today. Um, Going straight to the first agenda, I invite Uzo to take us on the first agenda, which is take us on the first agenda, which is about a low order. So Uzo, are you there? Please confirm you're there so that we can take your session.
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, you can go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Uzonna Anyemeka, and I will be the I'll be taking this first session. I'm just going to give a brief introduction about Hello World. I'm just going to tell you who we are, what we do, what our vision and our mission is, and why we do what we do. So, Hello World Hub is a community for. I'm sorry, I don't know if this slide is ready.
Yeah, you can go ahead. I'll present slide.
All right. So, Hello World Hub is a community for developers, and by developers, we are trying to, or we aim to be a safe space where developers can come together to interact, to share ideas, to network with each other, to learn from each other, especially. And that's what we've been at for a while now, since the inception of this. That should be about since last year. So, our vision. Hold on for a second. Disconnect this slide. Okay. So, starting again. Sorry. Welcome everybody. Those that are joining and those that are streaming. This is Hello World Hub webinar. Our Tech Career Webinar 2.0, and this promises to be a more exciting and a more engaging one than the last time. Like my colleague said, that knowing what to do and what path to take in tech can be a daunting task. So the aim of this webinar is to help you, to guide and to inform you on what to do and the right path to go. So let's begin. And now just a few facts about our world. In the late 1970s, it brought about a change in our world, and that was the beginning of the digital revolution. And that has laid the foundation for the society that we live in right now. Everything we've observed is going digital right now, and if you are still denying that fact, then it means you are not up to date with the trends and everything. So, new innovations and solutions have been birthed due to people's passion and quest for change. People saw an opportunity, or rather, they saw where an issue was, or whether they saw where a problem was, and they decided that they want to make a change in that aspect. So, what did they do? They had a passion for it, and that is what helped birth the change. But then again, the passion for something is not always enough. You need to have the passion for it, and you also need to know what to do about it. And that is why this does, and those who have the ability and skills to help create that change. So you could have the passion, you could have the zeal, you could have the urge, but then not knowing what to do about it. That's where the problem comes in. And the near future doesn't seem to be any different. New problems will arise, and definitely need to have a solution. And in our world today, most of it is tech related. So I think we should continue. Now, Hello World Hub is a community for developers and by developers. We help people who have a genuine interest and passion for technology to learn, to interact, and to share ideas to solve problems and to network with each other. So that is what we are here for. We help to equip our members with the relevant information and skill sets so that they can find their place in the ever expanding world of technology. So, like I said, passion and knowing what to do about it. The creators of Facebook instant messaging OSs that we use, they saw a need. They saw a need for more people to use the computers. They saw a need for people to interact with each other easily. But then, just saying that need and not having the skill set and not knowing what to do about it is not enough. So they had the skills and they saw the need and they had the passion for that change. So that is what helped them to effect that change, and that is what we see in the world today. Right? If these people didn't know how to code, or if they didn't know the basics, or if they didn't know what to do about it, then we probably may not have these things that we have right now. So that's what we're here for. So our vision is to be the safe space for developers to grow and flourish in the tech space, causing them to birth ideas that will foster productivity and advancement. And our mission rather, and mission next. Our mission is to build a community with a culture of seamless communication, innovation, and an ever learning attitude. So that's what Hello World Hub is here for. We're here to help. We're here to help people to flourish in whatever aspect they decide to go in, whatever aspect of tech that they decide to go in. And we're here to help build people, we're here to give people the relevant information that they need, the exposure that they need, and if possible, to empower them also. So I'm just going to show like a brief introduction of our leads. This is team lead, and his name is Ayodeji Ugundari. He's actually the host of the anchor of this program right now, and he's a community builder. He's a GCP cloud professional. He's a front end web developer. He's a media consultant, and he's a graphics designer. So this is Ayodeji Ugundari. Then we have Olawale Ajayi. Olawale is our technical lead. He's a full stack web developer, and he's an IT solutions expert in both hardware and software. So if you have any problems on that aspect, you can reach out to him. And we have David. David is a front end web developer and is a data entry clerk. Thank you. He's our operations lead. And this is me, Uzon and Yemeka. I'm the communications lead. I'm a Python programmer. I'm a data scientist, and I also do front end web development. And last but not least, this is Isaac Idibia. He's our marketing lead, and he's a digital marketer, he's a tech analyst, and he's a front-end web developer also. So I just want to thank you all for your time. Thank you for listening to me, and do enjoy the rest of the webinar. Thank you very much. So, Ayo, back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Zona, for that wonderful session. Okay, without wasting much time, I would like to go to our next session. I don't know, Ma, are you there? So, Mauka 4, which I like to call Chidima, is a software engineer um, based in Lagos. I sort of read a little about her before this webinar, and she has been doing great in her career. And so she'll be taking us this morning on the topic discovering a career path in tech and building it. So, Uma, are you there? Please let's have your session.
Hi guys, good morning. I'm here. Please indicate if you can hear me, then I'll turn my camera on.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, apologies for any background noise you might hear. I don't have control over people that are, not me. I think this is a very Lagos thing. Lagos and noise are synonymous. So I'm turning my camera on. Hi everyone. Um, Good morning. Good morning, Ayodeji. Good morning, basically everybody. I can't see everybody on the call, um, but I'm just saying a wonderful good morning to you from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm sure people are tuned in from different places. Um, my name is Chidima Okafo. I'm a software engineer, front-end software engineer with Venture Garden Group. Um, I didn't study computer science or anything tech related for my first degree, but I've been working as a software engineer for about 2 years now, and it has been an amazing experience so far. Um, but I don't want to make this just about me, right? I would like to get to know the people that I would be speaking with or speaking to. So if it's possible, I would like people to just drop comments and say hi. I want it to be as interactive as possible. Alex is saying hi, guys, from YouTube, I think. From YouTube, yeah. So hi. Hi, Emmanuel. Um, Hello to everybody. So just to have an idea of the kind of, the demographics of the people I'll be speaking with, I want to know your age range, and also maybe where you are calling in from, where you are currently. Please let me know if you can still hear me. Let me know if everything is okay.
Yes, we can
And
hear you. We can
okay,
hear you.
beautiful. So yeah, please, I'd like to see comments. Let me go to the comment section. And can you drop your age range? I just want to have an idea. It's mostly guys I'm seeing here. Oh wow. Women in tech, where are you? Hi, Felistus. Okay, so please, can you guys, you don't have to drop your exact age, just maybe your age range, 18 to 25, 25 to maybe 30. I want to have an idea of the demographics of people I'll be speaking with. I also want to know, what you're doing currently, or what if you are still early on in your tech career. I'd like to know, where you are currently, and where you are hoping to go to. So please, I'll be expecting to see comments. I'm just going to give maybe like 2 minutes so I can read from people. Okay, beautiful. I'm seeing someone that says he's in his 40s. He or she is in her 40s. Okay, not, it's never too late. Okay, beautiful. Okay, 20 to 25, 25 to 30. Okay, okay. Or I'm also in the 25 to 30 brackets. Very soon we'll be 30 plus gang. Hi, Tokumbo. Okay, nice to meet you. I have a colleague who is also Tokumbo, so that's why I figured you may be female as well. Okay. I'm still expecting to see more comments, please. I want this to be very interactive and engaging. I don't want it to be just about me, although I'm the one that the camera is on right now. Mm, okay. Okay, so are you an early on techie, or you know, Alex from Ibadan? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Port Harcourt. DevOps. Oh, beautiful. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. Beginner. Okay. Newbie self-taught. Yeah, I was self-taught for the most part of my beginning, my journey into front end as well. Okay, amazing. I've seen all the comments, and you guys can still keep dropping your comments. I'll come back to the comment section so that we can just like move this along. I'm going to start talking about other things. Okay, so I want everybody to get, if possible, get a pen and a paper. As I said, I want to make this very interactive and very engaging. So if you can get a pen and paper, and yeah, I want us to write a couple of things down. So I'll just give 1 minute for people to get maybe writing materials. Don't worry, you won't be doing too much writing. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to pull up my Google Docs. There's something I want to share with you people. So let me see. Um, Please let me know if you guys can still hear me. I want to be sure I'm not talking to myself, please.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, beautiful. Please indicate in the comment section when you've been able to get your pen and paper. Or me, I like plenty books, sha. They've always told me that I like to give people assignments, so just bear with me in advance. No vex, no to vex, I beg. Okay. Mm, please let me know when you've gotten pen and paper. I'm still seeing comments from people and where they come from. Okay. I mean, I don't even mind if the facilitators themselves, because this exercise is not just for people who are even like newbies into tech. It's be very helpful for people who are newbies, but would also help people who have been, you know, help you at any point in your career. Hi, Elsie from Kenya. Nice to meet you. Hi, Daniel as well. Okay, okay. Please let me know when you've gotten pen and paper. I think the comments are coming in a bit later than what I have said, so I'll give it a little bit of time. I've spoken for about 6 minutes while I try to find what I need on my drive. It's just something that came to my mind now. I'm hoping that if I log into my Google Drive, it won't log me out of here. Hi, hi. Facilitators, please. If you guys, if any of you has gotten pen and paper, please let me know. Uzo.
I've gotten a pen and paper.
Okay, okay, okay. Amazing. I think I'm just going to go right into it. Okay, yes, exactly. Now I'm seeing some comments from people saying that they have pen and paper. I don't just want to be doing this alone, and I want to make sure that this is something that will stick with everybody. That's why I'm asking everybody to get pen and paper. Apologies if my video keeps tripping off. It's because I'm going to a different tab to pull my Google Drive on. Okay, so I've gotten one of the facilitators has said he's ready. I've gotten two more comments. Let me see if I can get up to five, at least five different people following. And then would proceed. Time. Okay, so while you're getting pen and paper, let me just talk about, you want to know how to get into the tech world. You're a newbie, you've been programming for a while, you're not consistent, and you want to know how you can, skill and get better. I really wanted to do this exercise before I go into details of how you can break. Let's use the word break into the tech world. But because I haven't gotten enough comments, I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm hoping that people are listening. People haven't left. I'm also hoping that this session is recorded so that people can always refer back to it, and if they couldn't follow on with the exercise, they can always go ahead and do it on their own. Okay, so basically, um, if you want to um, okay, if you want to do anything in life, basically, I think the first step is always to like know what you want to do, right? Like you have to have clarity. This is what I want to do. And one of the issues that I know a lot of people experience when it comes to breaking into the tech world is that they usually don't even know where to start from. Most of the people I've spoken to that are developers now, that are software engineers now, that are DevOps guys, they are always like, when they wanted to start, they didn't even know exactly what to do. Maybe they just knew someone that was in the tech field, but they didn't know exactly how to break into it. So yeah, sometimes there could be confusion, but what I always tell people is that sometimes you don't even know anything until you start, right? Like there are so many options, then there's so many fields in tech. There's front end, there's back end, there's DevOps, there's QA testers. There are people who are info security guys. There are product managers. Those are also guys that are in tech. So it doesn't necessarily always have to mean coding. There are so many jobs. There are product specialists, there are business analysts, there are enterprise architects. So those ones are usually like further along. There are guys who work in HNI. So there's just so many career paths in tech. But the most important thing is to first and foremost, I would say you should start reading up about the different things. Read up about the different parts in tech, and then identify what exactly matches your kind of passion, what you like doing. So if you are someone who, there's also UI UX, which I forgot to mention, and that's one of my loves, so I should have mentioned it first. If you're someone who likes visual design or like graphic design, or who likes beauty, you may find yourself aligned with UI UX. If you're someone who likes creating things and seeing what they're creating, there's some people who just like building things, you might find yourself in front end. If you're someone who is more interested in mathematics, not necessarily mathematics, because trust me, you don't necessarily need to know maths to be someone who codes. You can be coming from the art. I've met lawyers who now learned how to code. But if you're someone who likes like logic, maybe complication and all those things, then you may find yourself aligned to back end. So just know what your passion is and know what part of the career the tech career path it aligns with. I would suggest that you read up about the different career paths and understand what each of them entails. You may not understand all the terms, but the more you read, the more you will understand. And so after reading up about these different things, you then find the one that aligns with you. And sometimes even if you haven't found something that aligns with you, it's still okay. Like, I mean, nobody has all the answers, but the most important thing is to try and find clarity. Like, clarity is very, very, very important. Okay. um Also, I would say that once you've found clarity and you've determined what exactly you want to do, then the next step is to try to find resources that can help you on this your path, right? It's not enough to just know what you want to do, but then you have to then go ahead and get resources that can help you on this part. How do you get resources, especially if you are someone that is confused, you don't know where to even start from? Beautiful. So that we have so many developer communities. I mean, this is one Hello World hub. You can I always recommend that you plug into different developer communities. Like, if you've decided that what you want to do is front end, then you start going for front end events, network with fellow front end guys, speak to them, tell them what you want to do. And people are always, what I realized about the tech world is that people are always willing to help you, always willing to teach you. And that is one thing I love about the tech field. I was confused, but there were always people that I could lean on, always people that I could hold on. I haven't really said my story because I don't want to not say the important part, but maybe towards the end, then I'll tell you how I, went from being someone who was in health as a radiographer working in the hospital to someone who started working as a software engineer. But yeah, I would say go for events, network with people, because when you network with people, you get access to more opportunities and more learning resources. You hear of things that you probably would not have heard of if you were in your house, of course. So it's very important for you to reach out to people and network with people. I would also recommend using boot camps, and that's another thing that I know that helps. If you don't know, you don't have a structure, you don't have a learning structure, you're confused as to what to do. Having a boot camp or having like all these structured programs where they teach you, okay, this is what to do, this is what to learn, these are the courses to take, can be very helpful. At the same time, I would say you should get a mentor, but as I've said, most times it's people will not want to mentor you if they don't see that you have had any progress at all. So before you can even get a mentor, it's usually required that you start first, or at least even show some workings, as some people will say, just show some workings, let people be sure that you are really serious, because nobody wants to. Software engineers are very busy people, that's the truth, and nobody wants to expend time on you if you're not going to be serious, if you're not going to do the assignments or things that they ask you to do. I would also say that you should apply for internships, but usually before you apply for internships, you must have also started doing something. That's why I started with, okay, learn on your own, get resources, go for events where you can get resources. Also, network with people so that they can give you resources. So once you've started getting resources, even if it's just one or two things, as long as you are showing that, okay, you have this interest and you're a bit serious, then people will be willing to take you on. There are some internship offers that I got back then where I didn't even know so much. They're just like, okay, no problem, just come, we'll teach you, but you'd also be learning. So yeah, usually those time, but they may be unpaid. And another misconception a lot of people have is once you come into tech, you start making money. Maybe that's why people miss it. Maybe they're coming for the wrong reasons. Usually once you are just looking for the money, especially as a newbie, they may not be willing to answer you. So just make sure that you're also willing to do unpaid tech internships where you know that you are just going to learn and you're going to use the opportunity to learn and skill and improve yourself. I also say work with other people, maybe newbies like you, maybe experienced developers. Just work with them and get to understand how to build things, get to understand how, if even for people who are experienced, it's always very good when you work with other people, because that's what they call pair programming, right? Once you work with other people, you have a broader sense of how to do things. When you're working only with yourself, or when you're the only person working, you have only your own point of view on how to do these things. But when you work with other people, it's like you are learning. Imagine working with like 3 different people or 4 different people. You're learning from 4 different points of view. Different people have different ideas because different people are coming from different walks of life. So it's easier for you to like broaden your horizon, because you have like exponential increase. You're learning from different people at the same time simultaneously. So it's easier for you to get different things. And also I think things generally stick more when you collaborate with other people. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I'll also say you should participate in developer communities. I don't know if anybody is taking notes. I'm so sorry I don't have slides, but I'm just going to go over it again. Like in 30 seconds, I'll go over it real quick. The first thing I said is that you should determine what you want, have clarity, and just determine that this is what I want to do, and then um, make up your mind first. Then start getting resources for that particular thing you want to do. You can get resources by going for events, meeting people. You can even Google it itself. But yeah, when you Google it, there's just so much information and it's maybe difficult to filter. That's why I said, go for events, meet people, join some communities where they can give you like some structured in learning material. Join boot camps as well. They can give you some structured material. Get a mentor, someone who can guide you, or get internship. A group of people who can guide you. Then at the same time, work with other people. People are always very willing to teach you. Then yeah, so those are the basic things. Okay, so now let me go to the exercise that I wanted to do for how you can actually, it's not just about saying, okay, I want to do this thing, I want to do this thing. How can you actually apply yourself and start? Like, how can you put action into what you want to do? Again, please, I want to be sure that you guys can hear me. I went away from the comment section because I didn't want to get distracted. But I'm sure that everybody has gotten their paper and biro right now. So first thing I'm going to say is this: if you could envision yourself somewhere, maybe in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, or even 10 years from now, where would it be? Like, when I say envision yourself, I mean as a tech person, to the context of this webinar, if you could envision yourself as a techie, where would you see yourself being? Do you want to see yourself as leading a team of how many people? I want you to just write it down. Think in your mind, where do I want to see myself in a couple of years? Write the number of years you want to see yourself, where you want to see yourself in, and also write down what you want to be doing or where you want to see yourself. What company do you want to be working in? Google or Amazon? Do you want to have your own startup? Do you want to have sold your company? Everything starts in the mind. So I want you to decide right now, and also write down where you want to be in, let's say, 5 years. Let's use a five-year timeline. Write it down. You can give yourself 5 years. You can also give yourself 10 years. Just write it down in like 30 seconds. Write it down. And it's also completely okay if you're a bit confused. You may have like three different things that you are confused about. That's why I hope that this is recorded so that you can still revisit it and decide. Okay, so that's one. 30 seconds. I'm counting the time for you people. Counting the time for you people. Just write down where you want to be in 5 years from now. Mm, okay. um Also, where do you think, or what are the things you need to do? What are the things you think you need to do to be where you need to get to? Like, if you've decided that what you want to do is that you want to work in Google as a front-end engineer, can even put location. Maybe it's Google Dublin that you want to be working on, Google Singapore. That's one of the places I want to be working in. I want to be working in Singapore in a couple of years from now, because that place is very beautiful. um what are those things you think you need to do to be able to be working in that place or to be in that position? Do you want to have a startup? If you want to have a startup, exactly. If you want to have a startup, what you may need to what you're thinking is, okay, maybe you need a group of like-minded people or one partner, somebody that you can work with. You should already know, like, if you say you want to have a startup in what, right? Um, Write down what you think you need to do. You don't even have to have all the answers. It's not compulsory that you have all the answers, right? Like, I don't think anybody has all the answers, and it's completely fine if you don't have all the answers. You can just write down what you know now, and you can always revisit this and do it later. The more you do, the more clarity you have. So this is something you can revisit in maybe a week from now, a month from now, 3 months from now. Just revisit your goals. So we are setting goals, and we are trying to see how we can actually achieve these goals. It's not just by talk, it's also by execution. Okay, so indicators or keys, these are indicators or keys that will show that you're closer to your goal. So if you have, this is your objective, you want to be, someone says he wants to be in a position to put people through in tech, right? So he wants to be like a mentor to other people. Maybe he wants to have an organization like Hello World Hub where he can mentor other people. Beautiful. So what are these indicators that will make you know? Is it that when you have 10 people that are teaching in 1 year's time, or when you have like a group of people, when you have monthly meetups, that's when you know that okay, you're putting other people through in tech. What skills do you need to have to be to ensure that you can also put other people through in tech? You write down these things. Okay, I need to have known maybe front end, I need to have known back end, I need to have an idea of, maybe project management and etc etc etc. Write down what you think you need to do to be able to achieve these goals. And also, what I would say is dream big, like dream as big as you can dream. Everything is in your mind. Everything basically believe. Once you can break down your mind barriers, you can basically do anything in life. So expand the horizons of your mind, right? Dream as big as you want to be. But I would say that you should make sure that you have your steps are as realistic as possible. These things they are doing, don't put something that is too much that you cannot achieve it. Make sure that each small step that you are doing towards this your goal is as as granular as possible, as doable as possible. Okay. I'll also say that you should set timelines to these different things, the different things you need to learn for this for the time different things you need to learn for the things you need to do, like these different small things that will sub steps exactly that will take you to your big step. Make sure you set timelines for them as well, and these timelines should also tie up to the eventual timeline that you said, maybe 5 years, maybe 3 months sub steps. Make sure that you set timelines to them as well. You can adjust your timeline even if you don't meet a goal within a timeline. You can always adjust your timeline, but keep your eyes on the goal. I always say that consistency beats intensity, and you should just ensure that what you want to do is always on your mind. Even you can have a vision board of the different things you want to do. I have to wrap up now because of time, but I'm going to share that resource from my Google Drive. It's going to help you set goals. Again, I hope that you guys have gotten so much from it. You can send me a private chat if you have additional questions. The additional speakers that are going to be speaking are going to give you like more steps on how you can, break into the tech world. Unfortunately, I couldn't share my story, but I'll also drop a link to a tweet on how I started my tech career. I'll ask Ayodele to drop the link to the tweet so that you can read it and have an idea. I'll also drop the link to the Google document so that you can have a better idea of how to set your goals to be able to achieve, your tech career or the dream job that you want to have. Thank you so much for listening to me, guys. And I'm so sorry I took 1 minute above my time, but thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ma. That was a lovely session and practical as well. So, without wasting much time, we'll be going into our second session for today. So, I'll be inviting our second speaker. He's joining us from the UK. So, sorry, I forgot. If you have a question for just drop a question. I believe she's watching the comment session. She would respond to you either during the tea break or after the whole session. So just drop your questions. We'll note them and kindly relate it with Uma. So as the speakers go on, if you're addressing a question to a particular speaker, make sure you tag the speaker's name so that it will be easier for us to um, forward your question. Okay, all right. So we're going straight to the second session round. I'm inviting our second speaker for today. He's joining us from the from the UK. He's a cybersecurity expert. He's currently running his master's on digital forensic. I hope I got that. His name is Victor Oborafor. He'll be taking us this session on how to prepare for prepare for and also ace a technical interview. And this is very important. Okay, you've been asking people how to get a job, how to land a job in Google, and finally you submitted your CV to Google and you're invited for an interview. Them inviting you for an interview doesn't mean you have a job. Um, I read I saw something on social media recently how somebody was so rude to an interviewer that chatted her on WhatsApp, and before you know she lost the job. So your approach to interview, your preparation towards interview actually matters a lot um in your career. You not getting you not preparing very well can actually make you lose that opportunity. So, without wasting much time, I'd like to introduce our second speaker for the day, um, the person of Victor Barafo. So, Victor, thank you for joining us. So, you have the floor now, Victor. Your mic is muted.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. I believe everybody can
Yes,
hear
we
me, right?
can.
Oh, okay. So, yes, I'm sorry I joined late. My name is Victor Obarafo, and I'll be I'll be sharing few points on how to prepare for an ASA technical interview. I'm very sorry I didn't prepare any slides. I had some coursework to do, and I did not have enough time to actually prepare some slides. But then let me share the little I have for now. I believe it's going to um, help some of us in preparing for an interview. So, so what do I am currently a master's student in cybersecurity at the University of Westminster. So prior to now, I've always had this passion. I've always had the passion
Uh,
about studying
Sorry,
cybersecurity.
Victor.
Yeah.
They are asking if you can remove your mask. I want to see your face.
Oh, okay, 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 fine. Let me remove my mask. But then, like, I might have to wear it back because I'm not in my room and it's compulsory that I have to put my mask. But then let me
Okay,
just.
if it's going to be any issue, you can put it. You can still leave it on.
Oh,
The rules in Nigeria is different from the UK, so you can put it on. You can leave it on.
okay, okay. So as I was saying, like prior to now, I've always wanted to study cybersecurity. Yes, I something I'm passionate about. I really wanted to know how to investigate security breaches in computing systems. So the first thing I think I started was research. I did an in-depth research about the field, did an in-depth research about cybersecurity industries, how they operate, the types of the type of operations they do, the nature of the job and all. So I think the first step in preparing for an interview is for you to do an in-depth research about the career path. You need to do an in-depth research. At the same time, you need to do an in-depth research about the specific industry you are actually applying to. For instance, you can't just you before you apply to IBM. Yes, IBM is one of the world leading cybersecurity industries. Before you apply to IBM, you need to know the 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 functionality of like the cybersecurity unit in IBM. You need to know the type of operations they do. Are they into forensics? Are they just into forensics or are they into cybersecurity? Forensics involves you. From forensics involves investigating digital devices. Cybersecurity, when you talk about pure cybersecurity, you talk about things like penetration testing, ethical hacking, and the rest. So you need to do an in-depth research, know what they are doing, know what they are doing. At the same time, know how you can also fit into the company, because most times a lot of people often have difficulties in interviews because they seem not to prepare enough. They seem not to prepare enough. I feel one of the one of the resources that people should use in preparing for interviews are websites of industries. You can actually do a research, go to study, go to blog sites. You read about what most industry experts do. You try as much as possible to gather enough information from the internet. It's very, very important. So basically, I think that's the first thing I need to. That's the first thing I have for today. Then I think another thing is um, understanding how problems are being solved. For instance, I had an interview 2 weeks ago, and the first question I was asked was, "What happens when you delete a file from a computer system?" So I was really stuck. What happens when you delete a file from a computer system? When you delete a file from a computer system, the deleted file goes to the recycle bin. So what kind of question is this? Why is this guy asking me this type of question? Because obviously the file it will be going to recycle bin. But no, that's not what he wanted to hear. When you delete a file from a computer system, the file actually gets deleted from its record in a master file table. So it's very, very technical. Like the question was very technical. It involves you applying the forensic knowledge. Even though I am still growing in cybersecurity and forensics, he expected me to know what. So he expects me to know what happened when a file is being deleted from the computer system. So you need to do a research. A lot of people just wake up and say, I want to study, or I want to become a programmer. I want to become a software engineer. I want to become a network administrator. I want to do this. I want to do that, without even having a passionate desire about it, without doing a research about the career path. And that's why they experience challenges even when they are being recruited in a particular organizations. They experience challenges, and it's always like that. So understanding your career path, just like the first speaker said, is actually very important. You need to understand your career path. You honestly need to understand, because there are two types of interviews here. You have oral and you have written interviews. In an oral interview, you're expected to show your sometimes you might be expected to show your problem solving skills. So they can decide to give you a problem. Like, there was a time I went for an IT security interview with GT Bank. I was expected to solve a particular problem, and that time I had no clue about solving that problem. So I wasn't able to get that job. I wasn't able to secure the job. So you need to really do a research. Go to blog sites. Go to websites of industries. Know what they are doing. Go to YouTube. For those of us that are into programming, there are several networks, several channels that you can actually use to develop your skills in programming. So you need to use the resources online. To prepare for an interview, and you also use the resources online to ace an interview. So it all depends on how you're able to do your research, and how you're able to think critically. Because in the UK, for instance, nobody's going to tell you, nobody's going to ask you any questions. Like, nobody's going to tell you to come and take exams. They don't have that time. Even as a student, from day one, from the very first day, I was assigned to conduct about 2 to 3 forensic investigations and to carry out some penetration testing. That so they already it's left for you to go and do a research on how to solve those problems. So you need to do your research. You need to do your research. You seriously need to do your research before going into any interview room or any meeting at all. You need to do your research. Use resources online. Very important. So that's basically all I have here.
Okay. Thank you very much, um, Victor, for that amazing session. I don't know if you have any questions you want to ask before we move to the next session. So if you have a question for Victor, you can ask that before we move to the next session. Okay. We have some questions here, but I think they are for Uma. So if once we are done with this, okay, there are questions. Victor is asking, how can I fit into the organization? I think he dealt with that. Do you have anything to say on that, Victor?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Can you repeat the question?
Let me show the question. They say, how can you fit into the organization?
How can you fit into the organization? Well,
Yes.
you can fit into an organization if you have the required skills for a particular job responsibility in that organization. So for instance, assuming you are a software developer and the organization is actually recruiting a software developer, this means that you have to okay, the organization is recruiting a software developer, and maybe they set some certain criteria that you have to meet up. So this means that if you are not able to meet up to that criteria for the job description, you wouldn't be recruited for that position. So this means you have to develop yourself. That's the only way you can actually fit. You have to develop your skills. You have to develop your skills. Know what you want. I want to work as a software engineer. I want to work as a database administrator. If you want to work as a database administrator, you should do a research of all the responsibilities a database administrator handles. So if you're able to understand that career path of a database administrator and you have the competencies needed for that position, you will definitely fit into the organization.
Okay, thank you very much, Victor. We have another question from Dixon, which says, okay, how do you overcome fear of going for an interview?
Well, that's that's actually a very good question, because I've also had to overcome fear in going for an interview. Well, what I think you should do is it's still part of the research. For instance, a few months ago, I had my visa interview in Abuja, like for at the British High Commission. On that day, I had no clue of what I was going to be asked that day, and I was really scared. So when I got into the room, when I got into the interview room, and it was a Skype interview, and the British lady was just smiling, and I was really scared. So she told me to calm down. So I was actually looking at her, And then before 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 we started the meeting, I actually I actually I just told myself, I spoke to myself. I was like, now I need to get this visa. So this means that I'll have to um I have to compose myself. I have to be very bold. It's just self encouragement. I just encourage myself to be bold. I encourage myself to be focused. I encourage myself to be fearless. So it depends on the individual. You just have to, because assuming I went to YouTube, or assuming I went to assuming I went I did the research online to know the questions that I'll be asked. It wouldn't have been sorry, it would have been very easy for me. But then, like, even going there without any clue was actually very difficult for me, because I was having several doubts. I was also scared that, okay, what if my visa gets rejected, my visa application gets rejected? But I had to encourage myself. I had to like uh give myself hope. But when I say hope, I had to encourage myself, basically, because I know I needed that thing. So if you know that the job is very important to you, you just have to encourage yourself, because yeah, I mean, you have to encourage yourself. You have to motivate yourself to be very bold and all. So that's all you have to do. It's something that no one has to help you, and no one has to teach you. You have to do it for yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm not seeing any more questions, so we'll move right to the next agenda. Thank you very much, Victor, for this wonderful session. I believe we can drop any of your link with us so that we can share.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Sorry for interrupting. Like, the only thing I want to drop for now is for scholarships. I know, I believe a lot of people will be interested in applying for scholarships in the UK. The UK is like my favorite country, so I believe that a lot of people will be interested in applying for postgraduate scholarships. So I will drop my LinkedIn account, because coming my LinkedIn account for some, yeah. So this is my name on LinkedIn. You can actually visit this page and add me up and send me a message. Yeah, I think um I should be able to assist with scholarship inquiries, applications, how to write a very good scholarship essay, prepare for scholarship interviews, and all. So I should be able to assist, and I have a team I work with. Yeah, because currently like Mr. Ayodeji, I'm on a fully funded scholarship from the University of Westminster, London. So I believe um, this is what I should be able to offer to.
okay. Thank you very much. His name is Victor Barafo on LinkedIn, so you can connect with him and send him connection requests, send him messages to be able to help you out. And those that registered for this event will be sending some resources to you. So the link to the video, resources from the speakers will be sent to all those who registered. So remember, we're all connecting live, but those who actually registered for this event have some benefits. We'll be communicating with them once in a while, check up on you and see how we could help you grow. We have a community Hello World Up, and be able to also integrate you into the community. We have a Slack channel. We'll also integrate you into that and see how we could help ourselves grow as a community. Thank you very much, Victor.
Yeah,
That was an awesome session.
yes.
Thank
So
you.
sorry, Mr. Odeji. I might have to go now, because
All right,
I
all right,
yeah, I need to get some stuff. Yeah, yeah,
okay,
because of the current restrictions in the UK. Yeah.
all right, okay. Definitely,
So
you are
so
very, very
so
much
thank you
allowed.
guys. I believe I was able to contribute to this meeting. Yeah. Thank you for listening to me, and I believe we could also discuss more on LinkedIn. Yeah. If I wasn't able to answer any of your problem or any of your question, you can actually chat me up on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Victor. Okay, without wasting much time, let's go to the next agenda, which is the tea break. So you can just catch a break right now. We had two wonderful sessions, two informative and inspiring session. So we want to go through the next before we go into the next. All right, without wasting much time, let's go straight to our third session of the day. And this session is very important because a lot of people, um, just we were discussing on our group about moving out from tutorial hell. So before I continue, I want to confirm, Salako, are you there? I want to confirm if you're there so that
Yes, I am. I am.
okay,
Good
okay,
good morning. I am Ayo DG.
all right. Okay. For those that are not able to join this stream, we'll be making available the video of this webinar later after the event. So, but for only for those that are actually registered for the event. All right. So the person I'm about to bring in is Salakwayo Mide, the cloud engineer. So we're having a discussion in our Hello World Up group about how getting out from tutorial hell. A lot of people just study tutorial, watch tutorials, just waste their life on tutorials. They can only do what the tutorial tells them to do, nothing else. Outside the tutorial, nothing else. They can't do anything. So how do you master your skill? How do you, you know, be so talk about he's going to talk about skill mastery. The art is an art actually of skill mastery, how to get grinded in that part and be the master of your craft. You're a cloud engineer, how to be a master in cloud engineering and be a master in that craft, how to be a master in software engineering, how to be a master in what you do in tech. So it's going to be highlighting some points, some principles on how to be on the art of skill mastery. So without wasting much time, Salakwa Yomide, welcome.
Hi. Good
And this guy
morning.
is very brilliant, very, 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 very lively, and he's very intelligent. I know I used brilliant and intelligent together. It's because of his Ayomide Salako. So I believe with just this few minutes he has, um, you will be impacted greatly. So your media, you can have your session.
Okay, good. I'll just take a moment to go to YouTube live stream to be sure that I have okay. Okay, so this looks good. All right, so uh, okay, so talking about skill mastering. So just for bands, when the first speaker was speaking, I think Core was talking about how to get onboarded into tech and what you should do and what you should not and be doing. So I think it seems that all tech people now wear glasses. So if you want to get into tech, the first thing you should do is to go and buy clear glass, clear white glass or white and black glass. All right. So about skill mastery. Skill mastery is an art. Is an art, and funnily, you don't only need it in tech. You need it across every aspect. So as an individual, I have an health background. I finished my first degree in microbiology, and yeah, today I'm cruising on tech, and that's because I've been able to um, pinpoint how to harness skill mastery. So one major thing about skill mastery is that you must be decisive. You must be able to block away noise. There was a time before now that
The problem used to be there is no information. So pre-internet age, there was no information. So before you get information, you have to go to the library. And before you would take the step of going to the library and sourcing for books and saying, okay, let me get this book, you should know your onions. You should know that, okay, this is what I want, so you don't waste time. But now that you have information just by snapping your fingers, it's very easy to be lost in the crowd. So if you're starting out and you don't know what you want, you would be swallowed up in the noise. So before I continue, I would like to take what Bruce Lee. I would like to take a snippet from one of Bruce Lee's most popular quotes, which says, so Bruce Lee said, he said, I do not fear a man that can make 10,000 kicks. He said, but I fear a man that can make one kick 10,000 times. There's something called muscle memory. So when you are trying to master the art of skill mastery, you must be able to activate muscle memory. Muscle memory means that it's easy for your brain or for your sensors to pick, things you do consistently, constantly, all the time. It picks it. It's easy for your brain to connect patterns. So what I'm trying to pick from there is consistency. So if you've not found one thing and do it over and over constantly, you get swallowed up in the noise. So today somebody says, I want to get into tech, and he goes to Free Code Camp, and on Free Code Camp, he's enjoying, what's the name? He's enjoying HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and he's been coding and looks good. Then one day he stumbles into a blog, and in that blog, he sees something very interesting about cloud engineering, and it's like, oh, this makes sense. And the next 2 weeks, he's doing cloud engineering. And from cloud engineering, you are broken into another, rabbit hole. And you are seeing DevOps, you are seeing SRE, you are seeing cloud architect, you are seeing solutions design, and you're like, I think solutions design is nice. So you see how that pathway is going. That person may end up spending the next 1 year not grabbing something. So it's okay. It's very important that you identify what you want to do first. After identifying what you want to do, you have to be intentional, then you have to be consistent. I would normally take somebody who can do 10 minutes. If you can do 10 minutes daily on a line of code, just 10 minutes daily on a line of code, and you can promise yourself that I will do 10 minutes consistently for the next 6 months, I would respect you more than someone that would do 10 hours today and take a break for the next 2 weeks and do another 10 hours and take a break and do another 5 hours. Because consistently, that 10 minutes, you are bound to accrue more benefit skill-wise than someone who goes off and on. So I'll use myself as an example. When I started in tech, in the cloud engineering part, at least for the first 3 months, this is no exaggeration. And well, I would, this is not me saying you should do the same thing. For the first 3 months, without exaggeration, I was doing 10 hours daily, Monday to Sunday, 10 hours daily. So I was doing 10 hours constantly, Monday to Sunday, because I had understood that this is what I want. I want this. Then I understood that this field is broad and is wide. And I had understood that the goal is for me to be better than what I had yesterday. That understanding and the precision gives you speed. So the way it works for me is that if I do 2 hours, I try to maybe go on YouTube, do stuff, play game, then I come back do another 3 hours. Like it goes like that. And I was accruing 10 hours minimum, at least for 3 months. After 3 months, that I knew that I had a particular knowledge base to move forward. Then I started to beat down the time, then give myself more sleeping time and all. And why it's like that, why it was like that, is not because I did not love to sleep, of course, but the moment I'm about to lay my head down is something about tech people, and you see something you've been working on and you do not get the answer, and it's that moment you are trying to sleep, it comes to you and you're like, oh, okay, this is it. You go back and you open up your laptop. So yeah, That's how it is. And again, I would also want to suggest all of this is I'm giving a practical point. I'm not going to pull up slides and say step one, step two. They are practical points. Know your strong point. Know your strong point. As an individual, there are things I cannot learn during the day. There are things I cannot learn during the day. If I learn during the day, I am just fooling myself. Any serious concept, the only thing I do during the day is when I want to regurgitate concept. If I want to regurgitate concept, things I've learned before, and I want to go over it again, then during the day I cruise. I call it cruising. I cruise through it during the day. But if I am to pick up a new concept, I will do anything I want to do and sleep in time, then wake up 1 a.m., then I start. So at least 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Personally, those are my strong points. So you have to know your strong point. So during the day, what I do during the day is I regurgitate everything I've learned before now. So if you don't know your strong point, it would not help you in precision. And with precision, once you've understand precision, you have to apply consistency. Like you have to do it every day. If it's 5 minutes every day, make sure you do it every day. Another thing I would like to add is that cultivate the habit of always writing down. I know we've come into a space whereby people don't like writing because you have your iPad, you have your phone, you have your notepad, you have your laptop, you can all type. But then there is a relationship between muscle memory, cognitive strength, and muscle memory, cognitive strength, and writing down. When you see something, there is a part of it that sticks for a while, right? When you write it down, there is an additional, attachment that sticks with you. So what I do is that on my table, I have sticky notes. Across my wall, I have sticky notes. Some of these things are personal, so that's why I won't flip the camera. I have sticky notes. So when I wake up in the morning, I try to, harness my thought process for that day into bullets. So if you do that every day, you see yourself doing this thing more, and before you know, it becomes an extension of what you cannot but do without. Yeah. So that's one part I would like to add. Then one very important thing I would also like to add is cultivate the habit of incentivizing yourself. Nothing beats incentivization. It feels as though I'm talking to myself, honestly. Let me check the YouTube channel. Ayodeji, please, can you hear me?
Yes, very loud and clear.
Okay. Oh, okay. So nothing beats incentivization. Incentivize your learning. Guys. Okay. Since we are having a very practical session, I'm going to use myself as an example too. Not anything religious. I'm the kind of person, I don't take alcohol. It's just personal. I have beef with alcohol. I don't, go to parties too. So even when my grandma was late, I did not even attend the burial. So that's like me. So, but my own kind of incentivization would actually be parks, would actually be natural places, silent places. Then I'm a big fan of chocolates and ice cream. So what I do is that I give myself targets. I would strongly attach myself to the point of the first speaker that she says, try to break your old points, try to break them into chunks, 3-month chunks, 6-month chunk. Okay, I tell myself that in the next 1 year, I want to be one of next 1 year. Yeah, in next 1 year, I want to be a renowned DevOps engineer. I'm just saying this could be anybody's reality. A renowned DevOps engineer in the African space. How do I get there? You've not started in tech already. You don't know anything about cloud. You don't know anything about cloud services. You don't know anything about automation tools, but you want to be a DevOps engineer. That's fine. It's realizable. So what you do is that you map a path. The path starts from, where do I start? So where do you start is where you begin to, if you've known where you are to go, if you've known your destination, then you should be able to figure out your starting point. When you figure out the starting point, draw a straight line from your destination to your starting point. When you found a mentor to guide you, that mentor, what the mentor does is the mentor escapes you from mistakes. So mistakes that they've made before then, you don't have to make it. So you're riding on the mental capacity of your mentor. So following that path gives you precision. And once you started, block all noise. There are a lot of enticing things in tech. You see ML, you see AI, you see all of this stuff. You cannot know everything. Pick your niche. Then one thing that makes people not master skills, right? One thing that makes people not master skills, right, is because they are scattered into many things. They are scattered into many things. You are here, you are here, you are there. You get to a point where you do that. But for starters, when you've picked your niche, mine your niche. Spend time in your niche. Be consistent in your niche. Once you are able to block out noise, engaging skill mastery will not be a problem. So the final point I'll be making before I round up this session is the point of incentivization. So one thing I do for myself is that I have goals. I have monthly goals. I have weekly goals. So when studying tech, I went through the cloud engineering part. Then I haven't spent a couple of months in cloud engineering. I was able to understand that there are many subfields in cloud engineering. You love you can be an architect, you can be a solutions design person, you can be a developer. Even in the cloud engineering part, you can be an SRE. Then the most beautiful of all of the parts is the DevOps, the DevOps route. And what what gave me love for that route is because of everything I could do with automation, Terraform, deployment manager, like working with Jenkins, building pipelines. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want to do. Now, the realistic part is to ask myself, how do I go from cloud engineering to DevOps? Then I mapped out a roadmap. I broke my roadmap into months, into weeks. Then I understood that I needed to be sound when it comes to Linux, when it comes to Bash scripting, how to pick a programming I had no mastery when it comes to any programming language. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, but you kind of went off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So I was talking about incentivization. So anytime I meet my target, I would normally incentivize myself, like give myself something. You understand? I'll like give myself something. Maybe so what I do practically is when I am trying to pick up a new tool, maybe I'm trying to pick up Jenkins, I'm trying to pick up something, and I'm able to reach major, breaking point. I'll just take myself on a treat, take myself on solo date, buy myself a nice maybe a nice shirt or something nice, or something to give me this sense of belonging for myself. So it's just like the biblical standpoint that says, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. I encourage myself. So you cannot downplay what incentivization can do. Incentivization. So find what you love and incentivize yourself on it. As regards daily meetups, you can attach, if you are a foodie, if you love food, you can attach your food to your task and tell yourself that if I've not finished my morning task, I don't take breakfast. If I've not finished this, I don't do this. If I've not finished this, I don't do this. So yeah, I think practically this points and these standpoints are clear enough for you to attain skill mastery. And if you want to reach me as regards any question, I'm a Twitter junkie, so I drop most of my thoughts. I follow a couple of cloud communities on Twitter. You might want to drop me a DM on Twitter, Uncle Ayo, Uncle Ayo. But the uncle, the C is K, so it's UNKLE then Ayo. Yeah, so you would not really find me on LinkedIn, but yeah, you would always find me on Twitter. All right, thank you for your time. And if I'm not against time, I could use next 2 minutes to take questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ayomide. Can you hear me?
Clearly.
Okay. All right. We have some questions for you. Some people are saying, please break down your grammar. You myself,
Ah,
I did run for that grammar. I say incentive, I don't want to. I want to just bite my tongue pronouncing some words you just dropped. Okay. Um, I'm going to read out this question for you.
oh, okay.
This question is from Dixon Victor. So, what
Okay.
can you say about the notion of knowing something about everything? Is it really useful in mastering tech?
So, okay. Can I answer the question now?
Yes, you can.
So I see tech like
Okay,
I see tech.
Choma, please, you're next. Ruth is still getting ready. Um, so please, you're next, Choma. I just want to let you know. So you can continue. You can go ahead, Ayo.
So I see tech like a cobweb, right? I see tech like a cobweb. Like everything is related to everything. Everything is related to everything. But when you are starting out in tech, normally the problem is knowing what to do. And that's where a lot of people are caught. That's where a lot of people are caught in the rabbit hole of massive information. So they get here and they're here tomorrow, they're here next tomorrow, they're here next tomorrow. So that's the problem. So the moment you are able to pin out what you want to do, that's like that's groundbreaking. So after you've pinned out what you want to do, for me, I know that different things, different stroke for different folks. But for me, knowing something about everything might not work for me. The moment I knew what I wanted, I was just all about that. Then I began to discover that along the road, I was picking point about other field. Like I've never sat down to write a JavaScript code before, but I can see a code now, and I can be able to say, oh, this is a JavaScript code. I can see another code and say, oh, this is a Node.js. This script is written in Node.js. I can see something else and say, oh, this is Python. You understand? Because I work with automation almost all the time, and with automation, you get to meet different languages. So thankfully, I did not bother myself with knowing something about JavaScript, knowing something that is, I am dissipating my energy. It's a very dangerous thing to dissipate your energy when you're trying to master a skill. Being about knowing something about everything is you intentionally dissipating your energy and you will burn out. So I would believe generally it won't work. It doesn't work for me. If you're starting out in tech, if you've done like 2-3 years in tech, then for your own core strength, you've gotten a kind of balance. Then it's not difficult, knowing what is happening in AI, knowing what's happening in ML. But if you're starting out, that would be a very dangerous thing to do. Yeah, very dangerous. Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, thank you, Victor, for giving us the definition of incentivized. Um, okay. All right. Thank you very, very much, Ayomedia. If you have more questions, you can drop it in the chat box. Ayomedia, I believe you can do justice to that in the YouTube channel.
Yeah. I'll
If you
be
want
in the chat
want
box.
to drop any answer to any question, we can help you um, display that on the screen. So if you have questions for Ayomedia, you can drop it on the YouTube channel, comment section, and we'll make sure we put it on live and get it answered. Okay, thank you very much for your session.
You're welcome.
I'm
Thank you very
really
much.
looking forward to it. I believe we are all impacted and inspired by that session. Thank you,
Thank you.
Ayomide.
Thank you.
All right, the next session we're having is welcome, Choma, and we are excited to have you. and you're taking another great topic, which is um, in demand, non or less technical area in tech. You know, try to highlight those areas where you can vie into without even writing a single line of code. A lot of people have the wrong mindset of, I have to write code to be in Google. You don't have to be a software engineer to work in Google. You can be a copywriter in Google and you're making your dough. You can be your project manager. You can be a product designer. You can be a UI UX designer. Some people have this thing for design. So if that's a passion, go for it and make it. So I always tell people, do what you love doing. Something something you will do and you won't even check time. You love doing, just do it. That's where you're called to do, and you will definitely rise to the highest ladder in that career path. So don't envy anybody and try to. All right, before I finish Choma session, let me just allow to do justice to that topic. So welcome, and we are glad to have you.
Thank
She's a
you.
product manager for a US-based company, so and doing a great work with them. So thank you. You can have a session.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So my name is Choma Peace Udo, and I started out as an ops lead. Ops lead is like an operations lead and at Intron Health. And then over time, I've been able to move into the product space. I know, as like all of us know, technology is exciting and it's a very growing career. Anybody who decides to make their own path in technology is definitely on the right path. And I want to say congratulations, for making that decision. Um, One of the biggest things about technology is that, at least for us here in Nigeria, is that most tech startups, at least as they grow and raise money, they're able to pay well, they're able to pay better. And of course, you can have like shares or stock in the company. And if at any point in time your shares has vested, you can make a decision to exit. And you can also do stuff like partial exit or full exit. Just depends on what is on your contract, right? So it's quite an exciting area. I know that just like I was, telling someone, or I always tell people, when I wanted to start out in technology, I was really lost. I thought I needed to have like technology skills, even if it was something as little as learning how to code. And then as at then, that was in 2017, I took my time to go to a boot camp, actually pay for it, and learn to code. So, but it wasn't something that I was seriously like passionate about as at then, because I was running a company and it was a new startup and we were trying to do something in the environment space. I had a co-founder who was fully technical at that point. So um, he understood more what to do. But I wanted to be able to at least give some ideas on what this was and how we can implement this, based on the fact that as the product owner, you have the vision inside of you, right? And then when we were doing the whole product road mapping and strategy, you as a product owner have um, these skills inside, or these thoughts inside of your head, and you have to bring them down. Sometimes an engineer might not understand like what you mean, how to do the design. So that was actually my first encounter with product management. But of course, it was my very first time in tech at all. So I was still thinking of tech business as the traditional business. So, but when we did all that, that was a great learning phase for me. I did that for like 2 years, and I won several awards for that. Example is like the Mandela Washington Fellowship and a few others. I did that for a while, and it was awesome. But still, I hadn't entered technology. Now, when I was done with that, I had to move on into becoming an operations director for a pharmaceutical company that needed someone to help them with digital transformation. And of course, I had some skills, which was great and transferable, like understanding one thing, one strong thing I know that I do well is product strategy, vision, and sometimes business development or sales. And I understand how something is supposed to run on maybe on a daily basis, or where it's going to go to maybe in the nearest future, like 5 years. Some people have that as a skill. You won't believe that. So like I helped out and helped to move them to becoming more like digital, transforming their processes and their operations. And then finally, at that point, that was the point I knew that I needed to do a full tech startup, like work in a place that we were doing completely like agile, like moving in a quick way, iterating. I just knew I needed to do that because I realized that number one, the traditional setting wasn't for me. Yes, it was good because of course I helped to move the company from maybe their traditional way of operations and then moving into SaaS and then having like their stalking, everything now digitized and the whole company processes moving upwards. Uh, yes. So uh, after that time, I knew I just needed to move. Number one, I love speed. And number two, I had so much thoughts in my head, and I just knew I had to implement. What was the best places to implement? The best places to implement some of your ideas is in technology, because in as much as it might sound stupid, but if you connect with customers, their users and their like their problems, their pain points, the truth is that you're going to always have something you want to do for them. And for me, tech was the answer, like joining people who were building great things and adding my skills to that. So one of the things I started doing was being very deliberate in my networking. So this is the very first thing I'm going to drop, like the very first point. Become really deliberate in your networking. So I'm going to tell you like a backstory of how the founders in the United States found me. It was true. I was in a network, and a lady just mentioned that she had a set of people like in the United States, and they wanted to do EMRs for people here in Nigeria and also across Africa. And because they wanted to immediately deploy like the projects, they needed somebody in health who understood health and who understood technology. Of course, I wasn't a coder. Don't Let's not even go there, because yes, I sat down to pay for that my coding boot camp and sat down to learn. But just like I said, it wasn't like I didn't know what I learned there, so I didn't know. But one of the things I told them during our like ongoing discussions, because we had to do like multiple like talks and discussions to understand whether I even got the whole thing. One of the things I told them was that anything I needed, I was going to learn. Like if I didn't have a skill, I will learn it. And I'm really very fast at learning. And they were like, oh, but we need somebody a little bit more experienced in technology. I said, like I did a boot camp, if that counts. And of course, I can understand like some codes. Like I look at something and I know it's code. Some people are not gonna even know that it's code. So, but that was like one of the things I started pitching. Like these are little things I've done in tech. So whatever you've done, you know, please make sure that you highlight it when you're stepping out to look for a job. Um, Whatever you have in technology, whether you have done something or you haven't done anything at all, just try to highlight whatever it is as little as possible. Highlight it, make sure it stands out, and then begin to talk about your transferable skills, like all the skills that you have learned while doing things. One of the biggest things I learned in my, like my journey in the whole career world was, number one, I built a product, right? So I knew how to build a product. That was number one. Number two, I knew how to run a company on a day-to-day basis, right? That is what you need. Number three, what else can you derive from whatever your story is? Okay, another thing I can derive from it is that I'm great at sales and I'm great at talking to people and networking. So like these were the most important points that I kept pushing out when I started, like when I started making that move to go fully digital. And one of the great ways to move to technology is to network and make sure that you keep standing out in what you do. Get close to people, pay attention. If you're in a group and somebody chats up, you can hail them or just say something nice to them. And if you can't say it on the group, go meet them in their DMs and drop that comment. So this was what actually helped me when I was making that move. And the lady was like, okay, fine. I think I like you. And I've always like noticed you make these kinds of comments or so on the group. So I'm going to just link you up. And that was where how we started. And it was just like a LinkedIn introduction. One thing is that tech is exciting, but it's also strongly competitive. It's not because there are no opportunities, but because they always want to get the best set of people to work on their products. Like, and you need to be product led. Like, you need to understand that startups care about what they are building and they want to be able to sell what they're building. So let's say you have been in sales. Let's say like you are a store manager, right? And you want to transition into technology. One of the great things you're going to know is to know the terrain. Start researching on like the terrain, understand technology. Let me tell you something. When you're writing your CV and you don't speak tech, it's going to fall flat. See, it doesn't mean that you should have worked in tech, right? If you bring yourself as a store manager to maybe an account executive position, that is not going to fly because nobody wants somebody who is not digital enough for them. So, but trust me, even as a store manager, highlight all your biggest strengths, especially all the things that you have done in relation to maybe sales. No need of talking about oh, I was in the store from 9 to 5. No, that's not it. But you can talk about something as little as while I was in this position, our sales jumped from 200 to 400, or just make it a percentage. Nobody needs to know the rest. Like, I managed this sales and grew it from 20% in the first year to about 70% in the second year. Our profit margins grew. So you need to also learn how to speak tech, right? So that is one great way, because when the door opens for you and you're asked to, okay, send in your CV and let's look at it. If they don't see those nice qualifications, or at least in the way that tech speaks their language, you might not still get that job, even if you are brilliant. And I must say that, yes, a lot of tech companies miss brilliant Miss Brilliant talent because of maybe culture fit, or because the person did not present him or herself well enough. So these are like the 2 points: you network and make sure you speak tech enough to write a compelling CV. Now the third one is when you see like go through, I would say go through companies and look at the way they write down whatever it is that they like. Let's say example is account executive at Kuda. Like Kuda just raised 20 million, right? So yeah, something like that. Account executive. So they're going to need more salespeople. Now look at things that they want and try to think about it deeply and relate it to your experiences. Look at the way they speak their language and make sure that when you're relating it in your CV, that those languages appear within your CV. Just like I've said something like that before. Make sure it relates to your CV, and make sure, because sometimes these companies use the ATS and they filter it out if it doesn't have the those keywords. So make sure your keywords are very strong, and make sure your experiences relate to what they need. I am saying to you now that it doesn't have to be exactly, but if you know how to connect the dots, it should go in nicely. It should fit in nicely. An account person, a salesperson, a business development person, they have basically the same skills. So you can be able to walk around those experiences you have. Even if you've not had experiences, look for volunteer experiences that you have had in your university and then talk about them in a very nice way. Now, there are several opportunities that are in technology that are not technology heavy. And one of the biggest ones right now is the UI UX design. So I'm going to tell you something I read recently. 57% of Nigerian startup managers want to hire UI UX designers in the nearest future. At first, tech started with engineers. Of course, we're not talking abroad, right? Those ones are ahead because they have more money. So they tend to bring in all the talents they need. But in a regular startup here, you can have the product manager doing the design work, doing the UI research work, doing the UI design work. So, and also doing all the strategy and product vision work. So what you need to know is that for this top non coding related areas, you might need to go out there and get the skill. So if you don't have the skill, that's fine. Just know that it's okay not to have these skills, but it will be bad if you don't gain these skills in the next 2 months, right? If you want to be a UI UX designer, you should start doing something about that now, because in the nearest future, and I'm seeing that already, because even ourselves, we need a UI and a UX designer in my company, and those are going to be hired really quickly. Why is this really beautiful? Because this is a role that it has a very low barrier to entry. That is even the funny thing. Like when you look at areas like product management, where you have to gain certifications that are quite costly, that's fine, I can understand. But do you know that UI UX design can totally be learned on YouTube? I didn't know that until somebody said that his friend who was jobless 2 months ago is earning like $1,000 from UI UX design now. So the low barrier to entry, he did not pay anything for it. He was fired from his job and he immediately went to YouTube, gained the skills. But another thing I will encourage you is ensure that you try to also look for paid trainings. Do you know what paid trainings do for you? So our people, we like free things, and it's quite okay to like free things, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Me, I like AWOOF. I've been through so many AWOOF programs, and it's beautiful because when you're blessed, you don't need to buy everything for yourself. People literally dash you things, and that's favor, and that's okay. You deserve it. But I'm telling you that you need to make sure that you go for paid trainings. See what it does for you. Paid trainings like Utiva is quite cheap in the UI UX design section, but it gives you something that you don't have. Network, and it gives you jobs, right? So they are going to anything they're going to, if somebody reaches out to them and say, Utiva, you're a design school, yes, so I saw you on the internet, please give me a designer, they go inside that pool of people who have paid them for school, and just pick somebody out of there and go give to that person. So this is something that we should all know, especially in building networks here. In building networks here is not as free as it would be abroad, but I'm even sure that sometimes abroad you have to pay for the networks, right? So the really great things are not free, and if you want to move ahead really fast, you might have to pay for them. I have had series of trainings like on Coursera on product management, but I also had to go and integrate myself in a product management community here, and I had to pay for it, right? So I'm not saying you should just do Utiva. I'm saying you can do anyone. I did product dive for product management, and I did Utiva for product design. Please, if you want to join them, because of my because of my speech today, please let me know so that I'll collect something. When you're marketing people, it's all for free. So, but you get the idea, right? But it helps you a lot in getting like the best what is it called, like the opportunities. That's the truth, especially if you're in this country. One of the things I tell people is be deliberate. If you don't have money now, it's fine. Use YouTube, like I said. Use Udemy, Coursera. They have lots of unpaid courses. Sometimes it's not free all the time, but at least once in a while they open one course, and they really have quality courses. Something like Coursera, they really have great courses. So try to pay for some of these courses. You will get a network, and you will get into where you want to get into as a result of that. Then there are other lots and lots of areas in technology that are out there. Another one is project management. So recently, more tech companies are hiring project managers because developing tech is not cheap. It's not cheap. And most companies want to cut down that cost, right? They want to make sure that everybody's in tip-top shape and produce as much as they can on time, on budget. So if you're like Margaret Thatcher and you can get things working on time, on budget, that is a skill that you have that tech companies might love, right? And you have areas like program managers, areas like I have a long list of them. Operations lead. Please, if you're someone who you have worked in operations before, and you know that you know how to get things working nice and smooth, this is a strong skill that you have, and you should begin to position yourself for tech hiring. They need people who are who are into operations, especially people in logistics or e-commerce, because those areas are really heavy in operations and in logistics. So they really need so what I'm also trying to build out is look at companies where your skills will fit, and try to begin to understand what is going on at that company. Are they hiring? Are they not hiring? Is there someone I can just get to become friends with, even if it's connect with them on LinkedIn, right? Just go say hi. I remember someone that I guess someone was looking for something, and just pinged one of us in the product group where we were at, and was saying, "Oh, I have this opportunity. Please, I know you have so and so network. Please post them in your networks." And that was how that opportunity came out, from somebody within your network, and another person in that network was hired. So you should always know that, um, even if it's not being directly inside the network, right? Just try to connect with somebody on LinkedIn, and say hi, and say these are my skills, and if there's any way the company needs, even if it's volunteering, I can do that. Please don't underestimate the power of volunteering. If you have a few hours a day to spare for a new startup before they raise money, you should do that. Why am I saying this? Is quite strategic, because most of the time, if you get to just put in an hour or two, and you have skills they need, the truth is that especially if they are on the brink of raising money, when they raise money, they're going to hire you, right? So that's what I'm just saying. Tech is growing in this country. A lot more companies are raising money, and they will have money to pay you now and in the future. So the only thing is, are you positioning for that, right? Tend to lose so much. Yes, yes. Yes, absolutely. People tend to lose so much if you just attend freebies. You tend not to gain all. They might give you everything, but the truth is that the disposition is always different. When you go pay for something, you tend to have a value for that thing, right? Like, okay, even take me for that, for an instance. When I go, before I pay for a training, I already know what I'm looking for, right? So it could be that I'm positioning for the network, right? I want to get into the network of so and so person. I know he's in this community. I know that I want to speak to him. But then, if he's not somebody that is walking on the road, along that lives along my road, I can't see him. I can't find him. So one of the biggest ways is go pay for that training and get into that network. That is one of the biggest things I've seen. Like, you don't need to know everybody. Like, when they say network, some people when they go to a meeting, I'd be like, "Oh, I need to know you. I need to know you." No, no. It's always better if you're more strategic about it, and you research someone, and know that they are positioned in a way that, if you know them, you can get to where you want, right? So we need to begin to do that, start doing that, and start doing that well enough, so that when these opportunities come on. So I read another research, you won't believe this, that when companies put out a job description, they have somebody in mind already. It was quite surprising to me. I was like, "Oh, so you already have somebody in mind?" But no, it's not that kind of knowing, right? It's not, "Oh, I know Nkechi, so I'm just gonna get Nkechi." No, it's not like that. It's just because of it could be because of your reputation, right? It could be, I know in some of my groups, some of them has been talking about how um Microsoft hired the creator of Python, right? Something like that. So you see reputation. So they might have needed somebody with his skill set, but the truth is that the HR will still write the JD and still put it out. They still know they are talking
Okay, without wasting much time, we're really, 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 really out of time. So I will not waste much time, but to invite our next speaker. Actually, with what she has gone through today, if not for her passion for contributing to open source and a passion for what she does, she wouldn't be able to join us. She would have given up. But against all odds, we have Ruth Ikega on. So she will be talking about the impact of open source on career development. A lot of us have benefited from open source materials, a lot of us have a lot of us have actually benefited a lot from open source material. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite Ruth Ikega, um, a technical writer, a GitHub star, and also a Python developer. Okay.
Hi everyone.
Yes,
Am I
yes,
audible?
yes, yes. You're audible, very audible.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry first because I was supposed to speak before now, but I had some technical difficulties and I was already stabilized, but I'm happy I'm getting to give the talk finally. So I'll just go straight up. So I'm talking today on the impact of open source to career development. So the other amazing speakers have told us how to build up our career and how to. There have been so many amazing sessions that I've missed, and I'm going to catch up through the recording. So I'm going to talk about open source, how open source will help your career as a tech person. So about me, I think LDJ has already like talked so much, but I'm not so much, yeah. But okay, I'm Ruth Kega. I'm currently in Port Harcourt. I'm a Python developer. I'm also a GitHub star and a technical writer, and I love eating cakes a lot. Yeah. So let's go into what we have today. So, what exactly is open source software, or what exactly is open source, right? So, open source refers to a project, or often a software. It could be a software. It could be an IT development project that is that the code is freely available and you have the permission to fix bugs, to make edits, to use the code, to use the software, right? So when they say when they say the software is open source, it means it is publicly available for you to use and for you to modify to make contributions to that software. So an example of an open source software which is really relatable among everybody is Linux OS, right? So Linux OS is open source. The software is open source. There are so many other open source, and most of Google technologies are open source, and most of these big software companies like Microsoft, they also have some open source. They have some projects which they make open source. So you having a website. So let me bring it down to a more relatable term. So if I say my website is open source, it means you could come take up the code of my website, use it. There's no restrictions to you using my portfolio website because it's open source and it's free to use. Yeah. So now I want to before I go into the why you should get involved in open source or how it will help your career. I want to try to debunk some beliefs that are there with open source. Like there's the one that says contributing to open source. I want to let you know that contributing to open source is not just about code. Yeah. So earlier I mentioned that it means the source code is open for everybody to use to see. But contributing is not just about the code. There are other ways you could contribute aside code, which I'll talk about like as I'm going on with the session. So and your level of skill set as a beginner, you can contribute to open source. So remove it from your mind that you say you don't have anything to contribute. That's not actually true, because your level of skill set is welcome in open source contributions. Like for me, if I would want to start talking about how I got into open source, maybe it will take more time. But for me, I started contributing as a beginner, which tells you that your level of skill set, no matter what level, even though you're just writing hello world today, your level of skill set is welcome with open source contributions. And contributing to open source is not a waste of time. Yeah, I know you might say just it's free time, yeah, but contributing to open source is not a waste of time because there are so many amazing benefits that could improve your career, which I'll talk about later. That could improve your career, you contributing. And designers can contribute to open source. There's this notion that many people think designers cannot contribute, but recently there are so many design projects that are up and available for designers to contribute. So if you're a designer or you're wanting to get into designing as your tech career, you can also contribute to open source projects. So now the main thing, I'll just go like down to the main purpose of this talk. That's the impact of open source on your career. So first, it improves your technical skills. So let's say you're a beginner. Let's start from a beginner perspective. So if you're a beginner and you just start coding or you just start designing, and you getting on usually tell us you have to practice, yeah. So it's not just about going that round through the tutorials and taking as many YouTube videos as you can consume or as much documentation as you can consume, but you have to practice, right? And sometimes to practice, we usually do code challenges and usually do personal projects. So, but if you're contributing to open source, you have that liberty to contribute to projects that are real, right? So it as you're contributing, it improves those technical skills, your code skills, your designing skills, because you're working with software engineer or people higher than you, people all over the world, which I'll talk about in like in other steps, in other benefits, right? You're working with people around the world, you're working with good senior software engineer. So just working with someone who is senior or superior to you helps you because you learn better and you get to improve your technical skills. I cannot count how much I have how much open source contribute to open source for the last like I think it's up to 4 months now has helped me in my career because I have grown like even when you get on using some tools, you get to use tools that are new that you there are so many chat channels, right? It's not just Slack and Twitter and WhatsApp. There are other different chat channels like Matrix, Rocket Chat. So with contributing to open source, you get to know so many tools, right? So it's just like it helps you improve your technical skills. Then another way it improves your career, you can turn your idea to reality. So whatever ideas you might have, like probably you have this idea of creating a bot or creating one very wonderful software. With engaging in open source communities, there are people that are willing to hear your ideas and turn them into reality. Like with how far I have been contributing, there are some ideas I have been able to bring into reality. Like I started with the passion to actually involve more beginners in tech, in open source rather. So because I found out that not beginners were not really welcome. So I had this idea to whatever community I find myself in, I had this idea to always tell them that beginners are valuable to your project. So that's an idea which I have been implementing throughout my whole open source journey. I've been implementing that idea. So whatever idea you have, open source is a way to actually turn your idea into a reality, right? So another thing, it helps you gain soft skills. Now, soft skills, I'll talk about people skills, managing people, interacting with people, because definitely let me tell you, you're going to be interacting like people with different time zones, right? So you have to gain patience because you cannot if this afternoon around here, somebody you're texting someone in Francisco, which is someone in another time zone, right? The person, it might be night time for the person. But initially for me, when I really started, I was really impatient with the replies. I didn't understand that there was this time zone difference. So it helps you gain that patience, it gets to gain soft skills like patience, people skills, managing people, maintaining projects. Because on the long run, when you are going to get like a coding, when you are into your coding career, when you get a job, it's not just your technical skills that helps you stay on that job because you're going to be doing a whole lot. You're going to be working with people, and it needs you having those soft skills. So, with contributing to open source, it has that impact of giving you that people skills and soft skills. So, yeah. Remote. So another way is another benefit is that remote work experience. Like I talked about, like the time zone earlier. With because of like let's say you're contributing to view project, right? Let me use view for example. And the person that created view is somewhere else in the world, right? So it demands people they already know that there are different people that are going to be contributing to their project. So it's not like it's an on-site contribution. So it gives you that remote work experience. I know most of us want to like get those remote jobs. So before even you get that remote job, you already have like you know your way around working time zones, and you experience that remote life work experience, right? So another point is great work, great network and collaboration. This is like the peak of it, right? Because you get to network with working on an open source project, or working on any open source project. You get to meet, you get to network with someone at the other end of the world. You get to collaborate. Like there's this beauty in collaboration, right? There's this beauty in people coming together from different parts of the world and doing something really great. It even helps you during your job search. I've had friends. I have friends who they got their job through open source contributions they made. They got the network and somebody recommended them, and they're like, oh, you are the one that worked on this feature on this open source project. Okay, we can hire you, right? So it gives you there's a great network of people, like just not just in your vicinity, but all around the world, and it makes you open to opportunities. Now, I want to chip in my being a GitHub Star program here, being a GitHub Star in here. How I got into the GitHub Stars program, trust me, I started coding this year. I wouldn't lie about it. I started coding in March, and I started contributing open source in July, right? So I'm not 1 year into my whole tech journey, but I have had so much of these opportunities being laid out to me because I made it like I made it deliberate to contribute to some open source projects and to advocate for some things. So you see how far that network like can get you. And also there are paid opportunities. Yeah, it's contributing for free, but they're actually paid opportunities. First, I'll start to be throwing a light on like there's this open source bounty program, right? You solve an issue on GitHub and you get there's a bounty on the issue. Like there's some that has like $100 on the issue, and you get if you'll be able to solve the issue, you get paid. And there are internship opportunities like Google Summer of Code, Google Season of Dogs, Google Coding for teenagers. There's Outreachy, and if I like for Outreachy, the stipend is about $6,000. The for Google Summer of Code is around $3,000 or so. So there are also paid opportunities with working or contributing to an open source project. Even there are people that are actually paid to manage open source projects, or like there are some like Google has an OSPO, like an open source program office, and people work there and people are paid. So there are also paid opportunities with working or contributing to open source projects. There are so many other benefits, but I try to highlight like 6 of them to get you really involved and get you to start contributing. So now I've tried to talk about the impact it has on your career. So how do you actually get started? Aside stress, I'll say you can actually send a DM to me, and I will lead you through or hold you or handhold you, right? But how exactly, like how do you get started with contributing, right? So first you need to find an open source project to contribute to, and GitHub is a place to explore, to find so many open source projects. I have a resources slide after this, so I would also share. Did you help me share the link to my slide so you can access my slide and look at the resources I listed out. So you can find a whole lot of open source projects on GitHub to start contributing with. Then you could join communities. There are open source communities in Africa. There's Open Source Africa, Open Source Community Africa, that you could really engage. Open Source Community Africa is doing a lot, and so, Open Source Community Africa was actually how I really started. Like I engaged in contributing to open source because there was this challenge that came up about involving women to contribute to open source projects, and I leveraged that opportunity and I went on that challenge, and I actually got like a domain name for free. So you could join communities. There are Google developer groups, DSC groups, right? You could join communities, collaborate, learn, and grow. And also, last point I want to make is make meaningful contributions. So it's not just about the amount of pull requests or the amount of contributions or organizations you are contributing to. It's about the quality, what you're giving back to that project. Because all these softwares, open source softwares, are actually really, really very helpful. Like the Linux OS, right? Linux OS, it's so like there are so many the people using Linux who can speak for themselves of how far Linux has helped them, right? So it's making quality contributions that matter. So it's not about the quantity or how many you are contributing to, but what you are actually giving to that project, right? So like I said, I have like some useful resources listed out here. There's first timers only, like it curates list of open source projects you could contribute to. Then there's Ovio, you just sign up and find open source project. There's Open Source Friday, there's Code Triage. There's all these are linked. So once you set slide, you can be able to access these links. There's open source design, there's awesome for non-programmers. So like I said, it's not just code. You can contribute to documentation, you can contribute to organizing, right? So there are open source events that need organizing. With COVID, uh, events are all virtual, so there are some events that I can actually tell you. There was this event, All Things Open, yeah. I was part of the volunteers, and it was a paid volunteering opportunity, and I was paid for contributing or for organizing the event. And they'll be sending some swags, a VIP package to me also to Nigeria here. So it's not just about code. There are different diverse ways you could contribute to open source, right? So I'll end this talk with saying open source is your way up. For me, it's your way up because I think I'm getting up the ladder, right? It's like a ladder. I'm getting up the ladder, and I would urge you to start contributing today. And you can reach out to me on Twitter at this Ikega Ruth. You can send me a mail, and this is my website. I have some open source articles that I put up there to help you start contributing. Thanks for listening, and I'm so grateful for Hello Hub inviting me to give this talk, and I'm happy I could eventually give it because there was so much happened this morning, right? Well, I'm just really happy I eventually gave the talk, and thank you for attending my session, and thanks for listening. Yeah, if there are any
Thank
questions,
you.
there's more
Thank you
time
very
out.
much, Ruth. Thank you very much. Thank you for the passion. Thank you for the commitment. We have one question for you.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so the question is,
Uh,
can you really contribute meaningfully to open source with, is it without? I think
I
the
think
person
I think
meant
it's about
without being expert at coding. What languages are more used in contributing to open source?
So the first question, I'll answer the first one being you can contribute. Like I said, I started contributing from 3 months into code. I could barely I think at that 3 months I could barely build a website. And I started with Python, so I just knew the basics around Python. So you could contribute. When I say contributing, I say handling because I did some HTML and CSS, right? So there's this static site generator called GQL. It runs on HTML and CSS and little JavaScript. So I started picking up little HTML and CSS issues. We just arranging the footer, doing something around the header. So there's a way there's a feature GitHub has to align issues that are good for beginners, good first issue labels. So it's just those kind of issues are just minor code issues, right? That you could start control. You can contribute, yes, though you can contribute without being an expert. And any language, whatever language, if it's that I don't know if that's the program language. I'll not say what I'm not sure. So if no matter the language, like there's a way you can find, like there's a way GitHub arranges. If you use the explore feature on GitHub, you can search for topics, right? And topics means that you can search as per the programming language. So there are so many, every open source, every project, almost all, I think it's diverse. You can just search for projects as per your stack and start contributing.
All right, thank you for that. Um, someone is saying they can't see your Twitter handle very well. Probably you might want to say it so that they could get that.
Okay, at Ikegarus, I think you can drop the slides on the stream chat. Like I sent you the slides, so you can drop it there. But it's at
Okay.
Ikegarus.
Okay.
Yeah,
So basically,
IKEGAH or ETH. Yeah.
okay. So basically, every materials from the speakers will be put together and sent to those that are registered. So because that's the only way we could do that. That's how we could actually contact you because since we have your mail, it's easier for us to just send it across. So before we round up, the person that won the other coupon will contact you once we check up the Twitter feed and before the end of today, and we'll get to contact you and send your prize. Dixon, I think I saw your message. Yeah, you sent a message already. We'll contact you after now to redeem your coupon. Contact you after now to redeem your coupon. So it's been a great time with everyone, the speakers, you, the audience, and it's been a wonderful session. So I would just like to leave like 5 minutes for general questions, and I don't think Uma is here to answer our questions. So we have three of our speakers on, still on. So if you have a question, you can just answer that. So I would like to read some of the questions that were sent via registration portal. So any speaker here can actually pick that up, and um, so any speaker can pick up the question and get it answered. Um, I don't know if any of the speakers have the questions. I sent it to them. Let me try and retrieve it from here. Okay, let me just read it from here. So one of the question I will read here. Uh, okay, I think this can go directly to Ruth. Ruth, are you still there?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Okay, this question I can go to you actually. You say I would like to get insights on how to make money from technical writing as a developer in Nigeria or Africa. Can you respond to that?
Okay. Well, there. So if you have the skill, if there are paid sites, that there are sites you can write and get paid. Like there's Log Rocket. Um, there's uh, there's Smashing Magazine. There are so many out. I would have tried to look for a link. Like there's an article about that curates some paid sites. I'll try to look for it. If the person can send a DM on Twitter, I'll just send the person a link of. There are so many paid sites. It just requires you to get registered with them and I think submit an idea or like a topic idea you have and maybe an abstract and they scan through and they say okay they accept it and you send in your article and when it's published you get paid. I think Log Rocket is around I think $350 per article. I think goes same with Smashing Magazine, right? So I think if the person can send a DM, I would send down that article. I'll look for the article and send like to create a list of paid sites you could register with and write for them and get paid. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Here's another question. I believe Ayomide can answer this. In a situation where someone, let me see if I can paste all the questions, all the content of the question. In a situation where someone has chosen a career path for himself or herself while without any predefined curriculum or guideline, then suddenly gain access to another career path with mentorship and a well-defined curriculum, is it okay to switch to the new career path or continue with the first one? That's to you, Ayomide. I don't know if you can answer that. The question is long, so you might not be able to display as a banner, but that's some of part of the question. Ayomide, are you there? Okay, I don't think Ayomide is still on. So, Choma, I don't know if you could give us a reply to that.
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm so sorry I was kicked off, but I think I really believe that if you desire a particular path, it's always best to stick with that, right? Because of some reasons, I'm not saying it's 100%, but because of the fact that you're already passionate about it, about that area, and you believe that your skill set is very, very um like aligned with that area of technology. But I will say that if you're a generalist, like some of us, like me as an entrepreneur, or as a previous entrepreneur, I tend to want to know things and I want to learn fast. And that is fine, right? And I'm deliberate about things and try not to get too say like, okay, this is the only area I'm gonna be in. If you were like that, then that I think it might be okay. If you get, like internship or mentorship and is more robust, and you believe that this is a new or a more remarkable opportunity where you can grow, then I think you should absolutely go for it. But in any case that you think in your mind that no, this area is not for me, or in as much as these things are, better, I have more opportunities here. No, it's not for me. I don't think that I should pursue this area. Please, if you have that thought, don't go ahead with it. But if you're somebody who knows their onions, especially who believe in the growth of industries, let me use an idea: is the fact that data science and machine learning is growing, and maybe you wanted to do full stack previously, and then you have this complete mentorship and all the full package to go ahead and study machine learning, and you see where it's going, like you see the vision, you see where the industry is going, that should excite you more, and that it's okay to go with it.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm just going to pick the last question. We had a lot of input, a lot of entry, but we are really out of time, far out of time. So this last question, I believe you can take that to Choma. It says, how do I keep going even when it gets really tough and you have little or no friend around that is interested in what you do?
I know I can totally relate with that. And the truth is that when you have a vision for how the world should be and what you want to be, like the part you want to play in that world, it's hard for people to understand what you're saying, right? And I can relate with that. That's the truth. The truth is that visionaries tend to be alone most of the time because they are too like driven, and sometimes they even, the truth is that you can't blame the people around you because you sometimes overwhelm them, right? It's not their reality. They don't see what you're saying, but you sort of see it because you carry that vision inside of your heart. So being that way, I know it can be stressful, but for somebody like me, there is no other way. Like I can't not be doing the things that make my heart beat, the things that I believe so much in. I can't be in an industry that is too traditional for me. Like an example is how like I have parents who were teachers and they were lecturing, and my mother is a professor, and of course she wanted me to become a professor too. And she also had this opportunity for me to just get in straight and start working in that industry, right? But that wasn't me. I know that if things get tough, please try and leave that environment and go and decompress and make new friends. The truth is that there are so many people out there like you, but they are in a place like people tend to move away from where they domicile and move to another place, or tend to connect to others like them over the internet. So just try to leave that area if you can. If you have the resources to do that, that's fine. If you don't have the resources to do that, please reach out over the internet and try to connect with other people who have the same mindset as you. One of the biggest things I've seen, in aggressively moving out to gain opportunities, to take hold of the things that I want to do, has been the fact that they are there. The things that I want are there. I just needed to move or find a way to get them. So please, if you're in that situation, it's fine. Um, Analyze it, accept it. It's okay that others don't agree with me. Just be okay with it. If you're not okay with it, you might get depressed, and you might start having, mental issues. So first of all, analyze it and accept it. With that acceptance, you will now begin to position better so that you can begin to meet people who are like you, who want to do the same things as you, or who are in networks that you can reach. Find them. They are there. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Choma. I believe that's all we can take for today. And thank you for joining, everyone. It's been an awesome time with you guys. And I believe would we've been able to impact you and help you answer those questions, if not all, at least some of the questions you'll be wanting to ask regarding your tech career. If you registered, we have your details. We'll keep um, communicating with you and see a way we can try to help out in your career. The reason for is not just having a webinar, but after the webinar, there's also a mentorship and a guidance. Will also help you link you to the speakers and the resources they shared. So expect our mail and expect more resources from us, and see we will always be there to see how we can help you to grow your career in tech. So this is a webinar by Hello World Up. Um, you can follow us on Twitter at Hello World Up, Facebook at Hello World Up, Instagram at Hello World Up. So we are always available to answer your question. We are also a community, so you can join us and be part of us.